All right, let's dive into the world of APIs. And look, I get it. That acronym might make you think, oh no, this is going to be super technical. But I promise you, this is not a story about code. It's a story about the hidden power of data and the unsung hero that helps it achieve its destiny. Let's get into it. So I'm going to start with a question that sounds, well, a little intense. Why is most of the data in the world completely and utterly useless? Seriously, think about it. All those databases, all those spreadsheets, all those customer records, they're just sitting there on a server, not really doing anything. They're basically just digital paperweights. That is, until it can move. See, the real value of data isn't in just having it locked away, it's in its ability to flow, to connect with other systems, and to actually do something. And that, right there, is where our story really begins. So this brings us to our first big idea, the concept that data has a destiny, a purpose that it's just waiting to fulfill. But, a lot of the time, it's trapped. It's stuck in a digital vault, just waiting for something to come along and set it free. This quote really just hits the nail on the head. The API is how data fulfills its destiny of flowing to where it can create the most value. So that thing, the API, the application programming interface, that's the key. It's the mechanism that lets data finally live up to its potential. So what even is an API? Well, the technical definition is that it's a software intermediary that lets two applications talk to each other. But honestly, let's think about it from a data perspective, because it's way more intuitive. Think of an API as the control system for information. It's like the pipes, the valves, the traffic controller that manages how data gets from point A to point B safely and efficiently. Okay, so let's dig into that. The API's first big job is to act as a gateway. It's the official, secure doorway that stands between different software systems. And you actually use these gateways every single day, probably without even realizing it. Take your weather app, for instance. When you open it up, it's not just magically guessing the temperature. No way. It sends a secure request through an API to a massive weather service. That API acts as the gateway. It grabs only the data needed, like the forecast for your city, and sends it straight back to your phone. Boom, current forecast on your screen. Simple, secure, and super efficient. And this is a brilliant way to think about the security side of things. An API isn't just some wide open door. It's the bouncer at a really exclusive nightclub. It's checking the ID of every single request that comes knocking, making sure it's legit and it actually has permission to get inside. It's the first and most important line of defense for the data. But here's the thing. An API does a lot more than just open the gate. Its second major role is to act as a rule book. It's kind of like a strict negotiator that sets the terms for every single interaction, making sure everyone communicates in a predictable, orderly way. This set of rules has a name. It's called a data contract, and it is absolutely critical. This contract spells out the exact format of the data, what information is required, how it's all supposed to be structured. What this does is remove all the guesswork. It makes sure communication is always predictable. I mean, just look at the difference it makes. On the left, you've got this messy, unstructured jumble of data. Is that a credit card number, a customer ID? Who knows? But on the right, when that same data is passed through an API with a data contract, it's perfect. It's labeled, it's structured. Any system using this API knows exactly what it's getting every single time. This is the bedrock of reliable communication. And this structured, rule-based approach leads us right into the API's third superpower, its role as a universal translator. Because, let's be real, not all computer systems speak the same language, especially when some were built in the 80s and others were built last week. So, picture this. You've got a huge, established bank. Its core systems, the real heart of the operation, might have been built decades ago, and they store data in a format that's, well, ancient by today's standards. But on the other hand, you've got this shiny new mobile banking app. It's slick, it's modern, and it expects to get data in a completely different new format. So how on earth do you get these two systems to talk to each other without having to rebuild the entire bank from the ground up? This is where the API becomes the translator. It sits right in the middle of the conversation. It takes the request from the new app, translates it into a language the old system could understand, gets the data, and then translates that old, clunky data back into the modern format the app needs. It's revolutionary. It lets companies innovate without having to tear down everything that already works. And this is where it all comes together. When you combine these roles, the secure gateway, the strict rulebook, and the universal translator, you unlocked the final and maybe the most powerful role of the API, the innovator. Because once you have a secure, reliable, and standardized way for data to move around, something incredible starts to happen. You're not just connecting two systems anymore. You're actually laying the foundation for an entire ecosystem of services all built around that data. Just think about it for a second. The reason you can see a Google map inside your favorite ride-sharing app or pay with Stripe on 1,000 different websites is all because of APIs. These companies didn't just build a product, they built a platform. They used APIs to let other developers plug into their data and their tools in a controlled, secure way. And the result of that? Well, it's huge. We're talking about thousands of other applications being built on top of these platforms. Ride-sharing apps, food delivery, e-commerce stores, all of them innovating with data they didn't have to create themselves. This creates this incredible network effect where the data becomes more and more valuable the more people use it. So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. APIs are what make data truly valuable. They're the critical layer that transforms these isolated, useless little islands of information into vibrant, interconnected, and innovative ecosystems. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've seen how APIs let data fulfill its destiny today by letting it flow and create all this value. So the question we should probably be asking now is, what's next? In a world that's only getting more connected, what is the next destiny for our data? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.